Let's see question number 8. Given that cos u is 3 over 2p, where p is a constant, and the angle is u lies between 270 to 360. So this is telling you the quadrant, right? So normally when you do trigonometric function, you must draw the right angle triangle at the quadrant. So if you read the question, they will highlight to you the quadrant. From 270 to 360, you should know 0 to 90 is first quadrant, 90 to 180 is second quadrant, and the third quadrant is 180 to 270 is the third quadrant, and then the fourth quadrant is 270 to 360 degree, right? So for trigonometric function, why we say function? Because you don't have a value, you don't have a number, you have the unknown. So when you have the unknown, it is called function. Okay, so you must draw a right angle triangle at the quadrant stated in the question. So the first step, the most important step is you must draw the right angle triangle. So the right angle triangle that you draw must be adjacent to the positive x-axis here. It must be adjacent to the x-axis. If third quadrant, it can be here. If you are having second quadrant or third quadrant here, first and fourth will be here. So after you draw the right angle triangle, you must label where is the angle. Angle is always between the positive x-axis and the hypotenuse. So this should be the u. You have to label the u. And when they give you Trigo, meaning they give you the side, this is C A H, cha. So that means you need to label your A as 3 and the hypotenuse as 2p. So let's start with the labeling. This is opposite, right? So it means that the adjacent is 3 here and the hypotenuse is 2p here. Okay, for any of the Trigo function, before you do, you need to find all the sides. So let's say you're not sure about this one. You can call this is your maybe your p, or you can use any unknown, but don't use a p. You can use k or x, also no problem. So we want to find the opposite length. So we use a Pythagoras theorem, x squared plus 3 squared equal to 2p squared. Many of you will write like this, which will cause the whole question cannot be solved. Why? Because of that basic mistake, it caused the whole question affected. So be very careful with the basic. So let me show you how to solve this. Is 2 squared is 4. P squared is p squared, right? So majority of you are having some problem with the square that cause you cannot get the answer. You must be very careful with the finding the side of the triangle first, right? You must be very careful. Okay, after we settle the side, we label first. So this is 4p squared. Let me write down. We will label this is 4p squared minus 9. Okay, settle all the side already. We can answer the question. Let's see. For A, we are going to answer A. 1 plus second u square. Second, first of all, you should know it's 1 over cos square. Second is 1 over cos. Second square is 1 over cos square u, right? So from A, you can write as 1 plus 1 over cos square. So cos square, it was given. So you can just substitute 3 over 2p. It's very simple, right? So we are going to write 1 plus 1 over 2p over 3. Just substitute for the first question. Is positive because fourth quadrant, you still remember the add sugar to coffee. Add means all positive, here means sine positive, here tangent positive, here cosine positive. So that means we are doing fourth quadrant for cos, so it will be positive here. So always take notes about the positive sign and negative sign, right? For the Trigo. So here is positive. Okay, so I'm going to solve it now. So we will have 1 plus secant square theta is equal to 1 plus 1 over cos square theta. And if you solve it, you will get 1 plus 2 1 over, right? Because it's 3 over 2p, right? The whole thing square, okay, like this. Make sure you do properly. It's 1 over, so it's 1 plus 1 divided by 3 square is 9, 2 square is 4, p square is. So you need to be very careful when you solve fraction, so it becomes multiply 4p square over 9. So finally you will get 1 plus 4p square over 9, but normally we will expect you to multiply the 9 so that the answer looks very simplest form to get the final answer marks, which is the simplest form. Alright, so make sure the answer is simplest form. Okay, that will be 1 mark, right? It's simple. So then I want to discuss for the part B is sine u plus minus cotangent u. So how to do this question? I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, let me draw out the triangle first and explain to you. So the triangle here, right? Okay, you are at the fourth quadrant, you know. So when you look at the question, you are at the fourth quadrant. For sine, it is negative, right? Fourth quadrant. You should be aware you are in the fourth quadrant now. So for this one, it will be negative. For this one, cotangent is 1 over tangent u. So this one will be negative also. So firstly, when you see sine u, you are in the fourth quadrant, right? So let's read out the sine u. Sine u is, okay, I'm going to use a purple color. Sine u is opposite, which is this length that we found just now, 4p square minus 9, right? Over 2p, these two. But don't forget to put a negative. Okay, majority of the student will forget about that. You have to take opposite over hypotenuse, which is 2p. Okay, and then minus must be there. And then the question come with a minus here, minus. So you copy minus. Cotangent is 1 over tangent u. Let's read out the tangent u from here. I'm going to show you using yellow color for tangent u. Tangent is tore, opposite over adjacent. So we will choose over 3. So is square root. Okay, because the tangent is being divided, so you need to be very, very careful. You need to be extra careful here. You must put a negative sign. Why? Because it's at the fourth quadrant. For the opposite length is square root over, okay, the opposite length is square root over, is 4 square root 4p square minus 9 over the adjacent, it was 3, right? Like this. Be very careful when you solve. Got it? This is the, let me highlight to you. this one is the opposite. This is the adjacent. It was being 1 over because of the cotangent, right? Cotangent, and it is negative because it is in 4th quadrant for tangent, and for sine is in 4th tangent. So that's why you need to have a negative, right? So many of the students will forget this, right? So let me simplify. This one looks very complicated. You must simplify so that you will be awarded full marks. So minus 4p squared minus 9 over 2p. Now when you see two negative, quickly you turn to positive, right? So this one, I'm going to show you this negative and negative, and negative, it become positive. So you must write positive. Okay, then you inverse, it become 3 over square root 4p squared minus 9. Alright, so make sure the sign is correct, because the sign will determine the answer. Okay, now we need to make sure the denominator is the same. Because the denominator is not the same, we cannot join them. So first of all, how to make the denominator the same is we will times this thing, okay, with the denominator which the same with the other terms, meaning that I'm going to show you this one, you will times with this square root 4p squared minus 9, same thing up and down, square root 4p squared minus 9. Okay, and this one you will times with the 2p, you will times the 2p. Alright, so the denominator the same, we can join them, right? We can join them to form a better answer, right? Let me join them. So you will write like this, long division 2p square root 4p squared minus 9. And here there is a negative, make sure you put a bracket and third, see or not, it will cancel out the square root 4p squared minus 9 plus the 6p, right? So finally the answer that you supposed to write is this answer. Okay, so let's see the answer that I'm going to show you. It should be negative 4p squared plus 9 plus 6p, right, over 2p. If you want to write square root of 2p minus 3 or 2p plus 3 is good. That is the better answer, because you should know that 4p squared minus 9, it can be factorized, right? It can be written as 2p squared minus 3 squared, right? Then you will have the a plus b, a minus b formula. That is why your answer should be this one. The simplest answer should be minus 4p squared plus the 9, this is a plus the 9, plus the 6p. If possible, we write in general form. That means we're going to write the answer like this: negative 4p squared plus 6p plus 9 over 2p square root 2p minus 3 and then 2p plus 3. So this should be the best answer. Alright, so always make sure the answer is the simplest form, then you will be awarded with the full marks. Alright, so how to give mark for this question is, firstly, this question you just substitute. Okay, alright, so the answer should be this one, and then this one is 1 over tangent, cotangent. You write this one, we try to give you mark, and we see you put a negative here and negative here. There's a negative here. If we see this one, we know that you know how to read the quadrant for tangent and sine negative, right? So we can award you the marks. If you can't get this answer, it is okay, but you won't get full marks. Alright, so the answer is negative 4p squared plus 6p plus 9, right, over the 2p and square root 2p minus 3, 2p plus 3. Right? That's all my sharing about trigonometric function, which is a bit challenging. Till then, bye bye and have a nice day.
내 중심으로 강강 쏠래 이거 알게 된 거 그냥 놀래 북북동이 내 동네 내 중심으로 강강 쏠래 Turn around slow down 멍 때려 아무것도 안 할래 바보 같은 짓만 골라 주머니는 무겁지만 I don't live play again 다시 보긴 결제 Damn bad 아니고 난 배짱이 우리 엄만 일어나 놀래 대한학교 설레비네 첫 번째 힘안 들이고 나까지 난 볼래 Oh way 관세음 보설 참을린 그래 내다 가만히 가나 때다 I pray for myself 못 때려 우리 번님 어디 가고 모두 신어 세월아 내